This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Good morning. Welcome again to WISH-TV's Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Every Sunday morning, we direct our attention to entrepreneurs and small business owners who are looking for direction as they start a new venture or search for ways to build and improve the business they already have. Our goal is to provide information and resources to develop skills you'll need to help start and run a successful business. The information comes from business owners, community leaders, educators who share their experiences and insights in the belief that small business success is good business for all. Our content focuses on diversity, equity, and opportunities in the business community. Every week we feature 7 segments covering important topics that are critical to starting and running a successful small businesses. Those topics: getting your business started, accessing necessary capital, dealing with accounting and bookkeeping, running your business day to day, staying on top of the news in This Week in Business, and getting inspired through a weekly local success story. You can watch the show every week or catch the live stream on WISH-TV.com, or you can also access all of our content and share it, if you will, anytime on BE&O Visit that site often for updates, resources, new segments. Also sign up for our newsletter. And if you care to comment on the show, please reach us through our email. But first, let's do a little business. Coming up on today's Business, Equity, and Opportunities, solid line of credit can be a valuable tool when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping. We talk to an expert about how to get one and the best ways to use it. Here, our contributors share their professional experiences to keep your business running and help you make more money. And that's where digital advertising can come in. Jeremy Stevens is the co-founder of DYC Fitness. He's a personal trainer whose own journey to get fit led him to create a successful business that now has turned him into a social media influencer pursued by major brands across the country. We like to start each show with a segment called Getting Started. Each week we focus on things you need to consider when planning a new business. This week, the executive director of Bankable shares insight on how to give your business a strong financial start.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting Started.
So when you're starting a business, applying for a loan can be intimidating to many entrepreneurs. It is a process where you're going to need some accurate and up-to-date financial documents and information that every lender will ask for about the same types of things. The first step is to make sure that you have a business banking account. It is never a good idea to commingle your personal finances and your business finances. It makes it very difficult for tax purposes. And in some cases, it's illegal to commingle those funds. So start a business bank account and begin moving all of your transactions into that business bank account. When you go to apply for a loan, it's important to be prepared. It will make the process much smoother and in some cases faster if you have all of your documents gathered beforehand. Most banks are going to ask for a few key financial documents. One is a balance sheet. A balance sheet is a snapshot of a point in time of your business's assets, the things that your business owns, and your liabilities, the things that your business owes. Your assets must balance or equal your liabilities plus your shareholders' equity. Shareholders' equity is another way to say what you've invested in your business out of your personal funds or what you've accumulated in the business and retained inside of the business. 2, a bank is going to ask for an income statement. This is also called a profit and loss statement, or a P&L for short. The profit and loss statement is a record of your revenue and your expenses. And the difference between your revenue, what you've earned, and your expenses, what you've spent, is your net income. That's your profit, what you've made in the business. A bank's also going to ask for 1 to 3 years of tax returns, both personal tax returns and business tax returns. If you're a startup business, though, you're not going to have a lot of financial history, maybe none, and so you're going to want to prepare a business plan. Now, that can also be an intimidating document for a lot of business owners. It doesn't need to be 100 pages of eloquently written text. It can be 2 to 3 pages but very detailed. And your business plan will talk about your goals, the methods that you're going to use to achieve those goals, and then the timeline that it's going to take you to achieve those goals. You're also going to need business projections, and this is a look forward of what you think your business will do in the next 1 to 3 years. These two documents, you can find templates online, or you can visit your Indiana Small Business Development Corporation and be paired with an advisor who will walk you through how to prepare those documents. That's isbdc.org. They're a great organization based in Indiana. They are a nonprofit and are very valuable to business owners starting out, have a number of resources. It is very important for a new business owner to evaluate their personal credit history. Many financial institutions will rely mostly on their personal credit history. So if your credit score is not in great shape, there are several strategies that you can use to help improve your credit score, but sometimes by the time you realize your credit score is low, it's almost too late. And that's when you want to look toward a community development financial institution who have more less strict guidelines on credit scores and collateral, and it's easier to qualify for a loan. We believe that entrepreneurship is the best way and the most impactful way to make a positive outcome on local communities and individuals. But we also know that there is limited access to capital and barriers, especially for entrepreneurs of color and those in low-income areas. And so what happens is those entrepreneurs don't always get approved for a loan at a bank. They don't get the capital that they need, and they can sometimes resort to more predatory institutions that can charge triple-digit interest rates, extremely high transaction fees and costs, and this can really be harmful to their business. So our vision at Bankable is that anyone can launch, grow, and sustain an impactful business. And we do that by working with entrepreneurs who aren't quite ready to get a loan at a bank. And there's several reasons why they might not be ready for a loan with a bank. Maybe they have credit problems. Maybe they have a history of bankruptcy in their past. Maybe they're a startup and it's just too new for a bank. A number of reasons. And so we work with those entrepreneurs closely, and a lot of times we're able to make loans that banks won't.
If you'd like more information about Bankable or any of today's topics, visit our website, beoshow.com. Up next, access to capital, looking at special funding options that may help you. And straight talk about bank loans, how to get them and whether it's the right call to use them. If you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, email us at BEO@WISH-TV.com. We'd love to hear from you. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities, and we'll be right back.
Getting Started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to capital is one of the bigger challenges that small business startups face. It can be even tougher for entrepreneurs when getting started in underserved communities. In today's Access to Capital, we take a look at CDFI funding, what it is, and how it plays an important role in generating economic growth and opportunities in underinvested communities.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
One problem for small business in underinvested communities is access to capital. CDFI funding plays an important role in generating economic growth and opportunities in these communities. Dr. David Hampton, Executive Director of LISC Indianapolis, explained CDFI funding and the reason it was created.
A CDFI is a fancy name for Community Development Financial Institution. So we primarily focus on providing capital and financial services to businesses that are often overlooked in underinvested communities. Oftentimes when an organization will seek a bank, banks are good, but oftentimes banks may see higher risks involved, or they may not see a return on their investment as they would like with a smaller organization. So CDFIs are really designed to sort of foster that economic opportunity in neighborhoods that may not have that opportunity.
Before contacting LISC Indianapolis, Dr. Hampton recommends that you do your homework first. Learn more about the requirements and next steps you'll need to take before discussing CDFI funding.
You definitely need to be prepared to have a business plan, readily available. And again, I mentioned credit. I can't stress that enough. We do have certain credit enhancement services we provide, but it is important for you to ensure that your personal credit is good. And even if it's not, we can still work with you, but there are some steps you'd have to take, some education, and we really want to ensure that you're financially able to be sustainable in your operation. And so LISC steps in to really be an intermediary. We provide technical assistance, capacity building. We are really honored to partner alongside organizations that actually do the work. We're glad to help fund that work, but we don't actually build houses. We don't actually provide the services. We don't actually do job training. We don't actually do healthcare, but we finance and fund healthcare and home repair, and we want to engage in those spaces so that, again, we can really improve neighborhoods and the economic resilience of our neighborhoods.
Resources to enhance your business and establishing community partnerships are essential to obtaining CDFI funding. Dr. Hampton explains more.
We will meet with an organization, anyone who'd like to meet with us, and we try to encourage them to look for resources that will enhance their business or service that they want to provide. For example, it's important that certain organizations learn the power of partnership. You're going to hear that a lot with many funders. Public-private partnerships are important. We look for the same thing because what we try to do at LISC is build an ecosystem. And an ecosystem provides that partnership opportunity so that businesses or organizations or nonprofits can work together. So, for example, if you would look for a CDC, a community development corporation, perhaps in the neighborhood where your business is located, or any business development organization, which there are many out there that exist, but we want you to really partner with an organization because that's going to really strengthen and sort of force multiply efforts, and we look to finance and fund those corporate, collective partnering efforts.
If you'd like more information about options available for accessing capital, visit us online, BEOshow.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter for more resources. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities, and we'll be right back.
Grow your business with WISH-TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, be one of the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time for This Week in Business. And to do that, we have a special guest with us today from the Department of Labor. Lacey Houle joins us now. She knows so much about a very important topic specific to small business owners in many cases, and that is child labor. In other words, what can we and can we not do in terms of employing a younger one, give them an opportunity while also not putting them in danger. Lacey, thanks for being with us today. Talk about the campaign that you guys have underway right now.
Yeah, so the Midwest region is currently doing a child labor campaign where we're out trying to promote the child labor laws that we enforce. And so the next webinar that we have coming up will be next Tuesday, September 20th. And that's for employers that's in the food service industry.
Want to make sure that our viewers know that they can find that through your website. But to do that, easiest way for us anyway is go to BEOshow.com. We have a link right there and some other great resources that you guys have provided for us. Why is this such an important topic? Not just always, but in particular right now in this interesting age we are in with the pandemic and so many other things?
Yeah, so we're seeing a rise in child labor violations, specifically in the food service industry. So we just obviously want to promote and help employers stay in compliance and get into compliance if they're not in compliance, but also help educate the workers, the minors and their parents on what their rights are, and let them understand what the protections are that they have.
It is interesting. We've seen more violations, and as you say, we see more young people in the workforce. We're in an incredibly tight labor market right now, which means more opportunities, but it also may mean more opportunities to accidentally fall astray of the rules. When you think about that, is there the hope that business owners will want to get ahead of this? In other words, learn the issues, learn the right things to do, instead of then on the other side of it finding out, oh, I broke a rule and now I face a fine, things like that?
Yeah. So the Secretary of Labor has declared 17 hazardous occupations that are too dangerous for workers under the age of 18 to perform. And so some of those hazardous occupations that we're seeing more commonly are the minors operating motor vehicles, where there might be delivering food to residents, or a lot of times the responsibility of a minor would be to take the trash out for an employer. And so if they have a trash compactor or even a baler where they're recycling cardboard, those are prohibited for minors under the age of 18. And so we also see common violations with minors operating meat slicers or even food slicers, and even some baking machines as your vertical dough mixers. And in 2020, I personally had to investigate a child labor death case for a 16-year-old that was operating a forklift, and obviously that's another piece of equipment that is prohibited under federal law.
The opportunities that you have provided both through this webinar coming up this week, again Tuesday on the 20th, and the online resources as well. If you had the ear of a small business owner, and you have the ear of hundreds of them right now, what would you want them to know? What would you want them to be thinking?
So first, as a small business owner, it's a top priority for them to understand the child labor laws and these hazardous occupations, as well as the hours worked for the minors. And then next, we encourage employers to train their supervisors and their managers to make sure that they understand what the laws and regulations are, as they're more than likely working alongside these minors. And we have some best practices on our website that employers can visit, such as wearing a special color-coded uniform or T-shirt or a name tag that will identify the minors separately from other workers, and so that the managers know that they are working under certain restrictions.
I never would have thought of it, but it makes all the sense in the world. There is so much to unpack here. Time is short, unfortunately, right now, but if you'll do us the honor, we'd like to extend this conversation next week on business equity and opportunities. Lacey will join us again and talk a little bit more about that, for instance, situation with the forklift driver, what she learned from that, what different age groups can and cannot do. And again, as for that webinar, which is Tuesday this week, BEOshow.com has the specifics on how to get involved in it. It also has links to those other resources that she mentioned. We'll take a time out right now. When we come back, much more business equity and opportunity.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Solid line of credit can be a valuable tool when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping. It can help you take advantage of unexpected opportunities. In fact, we talked to an expert about how to get one and the best ways to use it.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Keith Ritchie, Financial Center Manager for Fifth Third Bank in Carmel, has been working with business owners for years. He gives us some lessons on how you can utilize a business line of credit as a way to access working capital when you need it.
A line of credit is good, great source of short-term capital needs, and a lot of business owners will come to me and they maybe have an equipment purchase, or they've got a specific purchase they're wanting to make and they're thinking that they need a line of credit for that. And that's really not a good purpose for a line of credit. A line of credit more is a short-term capital need where you might be producing some product and it's going to take you a while to collect in your funding. So you want to have that short-term capital need of a line of credit so you can build up that inventory to be able to sell or whatever product that you're offering. A line of credit is a great thing to have for if you're growing, you might have a short-term shortfall in your capital to produce the product, and it's a great thing to have. We like to see a business in business for 2 years before we're going to look to establish a line of credit for a business, just to make sure they're on firm ground and firm footing. Really, I always liken it to trying to feed steak to a baby. You know, if you're trying to, a new business is a baby in its infancy, and if you're trying to give it too much credit or you're trying to lay on debt on that, it's probably not a wise thing at that point. You're better off looking for capital from other sources, maybe some venture capital or angel investors or somebody to help, or a family even, to help you get up and running in the beginning of the business. And then once you get established a little bit, then maybe at that time a line of credit would be good. And we usually look for up to about a 15% of their gross revenue. So if somebody's got $1 million in sales annually, then we can look at maybe a $150,000 line of credit for them. We don't want to get too much out there, but to gauge it by about 15% of their annual sales. The main thing that I try to start with on a new business is to make sure they've got their inflow, like their cash collections. How are they collecting from their customers? Are they collecting through credit cards? Are people paying in cash? Are they getting their payments in via ACH or automated clearinghouse? Are they, how are they collecting their money? And then their expenditures, how are they paying their bills? How are they going to pay their vendors through credit card? Are they going to use checks? Maybe they'll do automated clearinghouse or ACH payments to their businesses. It's good for me to establish that up front with a business to make sure that I'm guiding them on what they're going to need as far as their banking, their elementary banking of a checking account, and then what's attached to that. Whether they use a debit card or they'll get checks and they'll write checks. Online banking is very popular now with digital banking and mobile banking, and a lot of businesses are so digital that they don't even order checks anymore. They don't really need to write checks, but there still are a lot of businesses that use them. It really is a rewarding feeling when you help someone that's got an idea and they come into you and they need some funding and you can help them get financed. And to watch them grow over the years has been very rewarding. To see people that have actually come back 2, 3, 4 years later and they've built up this nice business for their family and they're really helping the community. Well, small businesses drive the community, and they can build the community from the ground up. You have small businesses that are out there taking care of people, and they're taking small business owners and we see them come in every day into our financial center here. And you just know they're out there working hard, and they're out there taking care of people's lives, whether they're maybe a small business owner that's got a siding business or a remodeling business, or a small business owner that's got a small restaurant that they've got up and running, that they're employing 20 or 30 or 40 people in the community, or we've got other businesses that come in here, and it drives the community from the ground up. A vibrant small business community will make a community that much stronger.
If you'd like to know more about getting a line of credit or anything about accounting or bookkeeping or any of our segments, in fact, visit our website. It's BEOshow.com. There you'll find more resources to help you create and run your own successful business. You also get access to all of our previous segments. Be sure to sign up for the BE&O newsletter to find out more about business resources in our community. And if you know of a small business that you think we can help, please have them tune in every Sunday morning at 10, or recommend they check us out on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. Still to come on Business Equity and Opportunities this week, ideas about digital ads. They're making a big impression on small businesses. That's in running your business day to day when Business Equity and Opportunities returns.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Running your business day to day covers a wide variety of topics. Each week we try to help handle the day-to-day operation. Here our contributors share their professional experiences to keep your business running and help you make more money. And that's where digital advertising can come in.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
Sheila Smiley is Hiron's Senior Vice President for Media and Digital.
Yeah, you're right. Advertising has changed significantly in the last 10 years. And mostly because there's the digital technology enhancements as well as media consumption changes. So as more and more channels are available for the user and you've got screen time that they're sharing, it really makes it important to understand how your users are consuming information, making sure you understand that target audience so that you can invest in channels that you have minimal waste. Yeah, just like you and I, when we consume information on a daily basis, we are looking at different channels. So we're watching television, we're driving down the road and see a billboard. We are on social media in the evening catching up with our friends, and there's all these different channels, and making sure that you're in front of the right audience in multiple ways really just plants that seed with them multiple times, and we need that recurring frequency so that when they're ready to find services with a business like yours, they know who to reach out to. Entrepreneurs can do this thing on their own, depending again on what their background is and what they studied in business school. But I would say, just like any other thing that you invest in, go to the experts. And a lot of times, agencies or marketing consultants will end up paying for themselves. They understand the cost of the market. They understand the geography. A lot of times, they will invest in third-party data to understand your consumers and how they're using and viewing information. So you're automatically going to have some shared savings by being, closely targeted in your channels. So when I'm asked how much it costs to advertise, it really depends on what your output expectations are. So you really want to start backwards and say, what do I need my advertising to do for me? And then you look at the amount of customers, the increase in phone calls, the leads that you're going to be receiving, and do the math backwards and say, based on my profit margin, what will I be able to afford in an advertising investment? Then you find the right channels based on your target audience to basically maximize that investment. So I would say, a business plan is going to then lead to your communications plan, which then is going to lead to your media and advertising plan. So as a part of that, understanding what portion advertising needs to be accountable to is the first step. Then thinking about what are those channels that your target audiences are consuming. So when you go back to that multi-channel approach, you're looking at traditional channels like television, radio, outdoor messaging. Then coupling that with digital channels such as display advertising and paid social advertising and paid search. And all of these channels and others have their own space when it comes to your advertising plan, just understanding where your consumer is in their journey. Do they know about your brand, or are you just telling them about your brand for the first time? So are you launching your business, or are you reminding them you're there so that when they're ready for your services, they know who to contact? So all the channels really work well together. It really just depends on your objective. I think advertising will continue to evolve. There's a time and a place to use lots of different channels, and I don't think those are going away. There were days, 10 years ago where people thought print was dead, and people thought, television, there's some cables taking the way, and there's, people are being cord cutters. So there's all these things that are being added to the mix. I don't think anything is going away. I think it's just evolving in how it's being used. So when you think about a user and how many screens they have in front of them in any given day, it's just understanding how do you get in front of the right screen at the right time.
Up next, our industry focus. This week we look at the business of logistics with one of the state's most successful women-owned businesses. That's coming up next on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Stay with us.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
I'm Scott Sanders. Thanks for watching this encore presentation of Business, Equity, and Opportunities. We hope you've learned some tips that'll help you start or grow your own business. If you'd like to catch up on past episodes or segments, watch us here every weekday or visit us at BEOshow.com. And don't forget, new episodes of Business, Equity, and Opportunities air every Sunday morning on WISH-TV, or you can stream it live at WISH-TV.com. Fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Watch Business, Equity, and Opportunities from WISH-TV.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Each week on Business, Equity, and Opportunities, we focus on a specific industry and hear from leaders in it about the current state of that sector and what the future may hold. This week's industry focus looks at the logistics and transportation industry, which has gone through huge changes and challenges over the last few years. Even now, with high fuel prices and new technologies, it's always evolving.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Kathy Langham is president and CEO of Langham Logistics, a woman-owned business that's an Indiana success story. She talks about the ever-changing landscape of the logistics business and where it's going from here.
I love the fact that people know what logistics means. I think as one outcome of COVID, a lot of people understand supply chain and logistics more than ever, and now it's a sexy thing to go in. Before no one knew what it was and it didn't seem that appealing. Now we have a lot more interest, and so that has attracted a lot of different sorts of potential employees, and it's just elevated the importance of supply chain. So I would say in the last couple of years, logistics has become a household word, and it continues to evolve and have tons of opportunity for entrepreneurs, for employees, and for our customers. Langham focuses in 4 main industries: automotive, industrial products, food, and pharma. And we've done that for a long time. In the last few years, we've had a special focus in the warehousing side of the business, especially in pharma and biotech and biopharma and all the related supplies that go with that. So we chose to take a business, a segment of this industry that had a higher barrier to entry. It's not for the meek of heart, it's expensive, and the quality levels are a lot higher than our core business. We still love our main business, I wouldn't call it our main business, but our other business of automotive and industrial products and food. This pharma has stretched the team and provided a lot of great opportunity, especially in this environment where a lot of these sorts of companies want to reshore a lot of their raw materials where they needed 4 months of safety stock. Now they need 18 months. Yeah, they've really got to keep an eye on things. They're not interested in investing CapEx in warehouses. They want to invest in manufacturing and doing things back in the domestic U.S. They want a good partner that can do the warehousing and distribution and transportation. Logistics is a very dynamic business to be in, especially now. Between COVID and countries shutting down, the war, fuel prices, backups at the ports, we're blocking supply chain, which affects everything we're doing, whether it's consumer products or building buildings or creating large molecule drugs. Everything's been affected. So we are at the center of all the madness that is going on across the world now. So we've got to really keep our eyes open to the pivots in the supply chain. What's working, what's not? Is China locked down? Have they opened up? Are we doing business with Russia? Are we not doing business with Russia? We've got to keep our eyes on the geopolitical environment as well as anything going on, and then pivot. If one port's shut down, another one needs to open. We need to pivot how we're moving that freight via ocean, or once it gets here. Is it rail? Is it truck? Is it air? There's an opportunity for a chance, I'll say, for a port strike coming up in about a month. That will change everything again. So I think we really have to stay on top of everything that's going on and make sure we are making very good decisions with and on behalf of our clients.
Up next on Business Equity and Opportunities, we share another great success story, this one from a local gym owner who turned his own fitness transformation into a successful business. Stay with us.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we share a success story from one of our business contributors. The hope is it'll inspire entrepreneurs and small business owners alike to follow their dreams. Today, we introduce you to a local fitness expert turned influencer. His story is still unfolding.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
Jeremy Stevens is the co-founder of DYC Fitness. He's a personal trainer whose own journey to get fit led him to create a successful business that now has turned him into a social media influencer pursued by major brands across the country.
I always lead with, I used to weigh almost 300 pounds, and I know here on camera today you don't see that anymore, which is what kind of struck the whole journey in itself. Back in 2016, I went through an extreme weight loss journey of my own, and it's kind of cool to sit on the other side of the fence, every day throughout, the months, the years. I get to help other people do the same. So in 2016, I went through this extreme weight loss journey. I've always played sports, so I've always been into working out, but I was missing the nutrition aspect as well. So I found a meal plan online and I just started following it. I was already working out, but adding the nutrition piece, I just saw all the results that I wanted. I started posting on Instagram, started posting on social media, these huge transformations, and it caught a lot of traffic, which is kind of how I got to be the name that I am on social media as well. With that journey, I also ended up starting an online training service and meal plan service. It's called Disturbing Comfort. It's still around today with my business partner, Joshua Hibbett. We actually went to high school together, and he came to me. He was like, you know what, Jeremy, you've lost all this weight. What can we do with this? And, just send me like everything you know about fitness, in a Word document. So I ended up sending them about 10 pages of just stuff. Eat this, eat that, don't eat this, weekend tips, drink your water. It was just stuff. It wasn't no particular order. And he was like, okay, we have this, let's create a business out of it and offer these services to people that can also benefit from it. So we started that company in 2017, and now here we are in 2022. We now have our own gym located in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, where Josh and I are both from. So it's near and dear to our heart to serve the Indy community. That's kind of my journey, my story, how I got started. I'm very relatable to a lot of people who walk through our doors because I've been the overweight person, I've been the fit person. So we want as many locations as possible. We want to help as many lives as possible at the end of the day, and we know that more locations are going to be needed to do so. We of course, we're here downtown Indianapolis, but we want to be on the north side, the south side, the east side. We want to continue to spread the good word and continue to help people as much as possible. I think that if you are trying to reach a goal, I think that you need guidance to do so if you've never reached that goal before. It's just like anything else. It's just like a basketball player having a basketball coach, a football player having a football coach. I personally think that anybody who is serious about their fitness and really have goals and aspirations to reach a certain height that they've probably never been before, I think guidance and accountability and motivation is what's going to drive you there. And I think hiring a coach or a fitness professional in order to get there is kind of where we are and where I see the fitness industry going. It's up to us fitness professionals to kind of seek that out and continue to spread that word and continue to promote the importance of having a coach in your corner that is always going to be there holding your hand throughout the process. So I think it's very important. My dad always says that life moves at the speed of relationships, and it's the same here in the fitness space, especially in this personal training gym. We are building relationships as well as personal trainers. I always like to say that we have a lot of different hats in here. Yes, we're personal trainers. Yes, we're fitness professionals. Yes, we're gym owners. But at the same time, we're counselors, we're friends, we're brothers, we're sisters, we're a lot of different things. And that comes with building relationships. And if you can build that one-on-one progression and relationship, I think that, especially in the niche gyms, is gonna go a long way simply because we are having that one-on-one interaction. And it's a lot harder for the client to quit if they have a relationship with the trainer or the fitness professional, because at the end of the day, we're holding them accountable, we're motivating them. Like I said, sometimes people are coming in here, long days of work, and then they're just coming here to let out a sweat and just kind of get everything out. We're there for that, if that makes sense. So that relationship is very important. Influencer Jeremy, one thing that you have to go online to see, it's not something that I talk about in person too much. If I was just walking down the street and they're like, hey Jeremy, what do you do for a living? I'd say I own a gym downtown Indianapolis. That's my spiel. If they go do their research, if they look up DYC Fitness and they see Jeremy Stevens, the owner, and then they may see that, oh, this guy has like a lot of Instagram followers. Like, who is this guy? This guy almost has 40,000 Instagram followers. Who is this? That side of Jeremy is one thing that have grown to love. I love interacting on social media. I love marketing for brands. I love bringing brands to life through videos, through reels, through pictures. It's one thing that I definitely didn't see coming, but as my fitness brand grew, social media did as well, and some of the biggest brands that you can think of have probably reached out to me, and we've done deals together. So it's awesome. It's a cool space. One thing that even when I was in high school, I'm 31 years old, wouldn't have even been a thing. So the fact that people can actually make a living on social media is one thing that I absolutely love.
As always, our thanks to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of Business Equity and Opportunities. We hope you found this morning's show helpful, inspiring, and you can always find more information about our show on the website, BEOshow.com. There you'll find all 7 of our segments from each show designed to interest business startups, or if you're already operating a small business. We always include tips on getting started and how to access capital, running your business day to day, and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. Plus, we always share a success story from one of our contributors. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday morning, 10 o'clock here on WISH-TV. As always, we'll have more information about small businesses and promote equity, diversity, and opportunities. You can also stream the show live on WISH-TV.com and find content from all the shows and share that on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. For more, listen and subscribe to our BE&O podcast, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network, and sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. If you have questions, we want to hear them. If you'd like to be part of our show, we'd like to find out about you. Please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. And if your business or organization has upcoming events you'd like to see us feature, send us the information. We'll see what we can do. For best results, make sure you get it to us at least 3 weeks ahead of time. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.